to another video here on Stutteringfreediary. My name is Manolis, and on this channel, as usual, we discuss topics. We talk topics, tips and solutions regarding overcoming stuttering. In the last video, we talked about the 5-step formula in regard to, again, overcoming stuttering. More on that, you can go and watch the previous video. In this video, we're going to talk about the fifth step of the formula, which is all about cracking the code, solving the puzzle, which is all about getting to know yourself really better, getting to know yourself deeply enough in order to speak more fluently. At the same time, of course, it could be the case that you could also know why stuttering occurs. At least that's what happened in my case. In the end of this particular journey, I was able to explain in a certain way. It's again my take on how stuttering or why stuttering occurs. So in order to put it in a few minutes, simply and quickly, hearing is connected, our ears are connected to our brain. So when we want to say something, we validate, we confirm what we just said through our ears, because our ears can validate whether we said, for example, o or a. That's how we know. For example, now I know that I said o. Now I know that I say a, because it's through my ear, that the information is transferred to the brain. Then the next question that comes up is, okay, how does the brain work? Exactly. The brain is divided in two parts, the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain is responsible for speech, language, and logic. And the right hemisphere of the brain is all about emotions, fantasy, imagination, and so on and so forth. Our ears are connected like a nix, like the right ear is connected to the left hemisphere of the brain, and the left ear is connected to the right hemisphere of the brain. Now you might be saying, okay, that sounds a little bit boring. Why are you saying all this? It's because hearing and the brain are connected to each other in such a way that we cannot ignore it. And this brings me to my next point. When we want to say something, we use our ears just like when we use our feet, our legs, in order to move forward. One goes forward and then the other one follows. The same should be happening with our ears, but we should be leading our conversation, our expressions, whatever we want to say, with our right ear, because it's connected to the left hemisphere of the brain, which is all about logic and speech. When this happens, we are not influenced by emotions. And with stuttering, it's quite often the case that when we are feeling low, or when we are, for example, nervous, or we are afraid, or whatever it is, it happens that we are influenced by our emotions. And why is that happening? Because we are leading our speaking with the left ear, which is connected with the right hemisphere of the brain. And this is all about emotions. I mean, emotions are not a bad thing, but when speaking, this should be done properly and without any interrupting the whole process. The thing is that stuttering occurs pretty much to everyone. This happens quite often to everyone, but it's all about not becoming permanent. If it gets permanent, then the majority of the people knows unconsciously how to switch to the right speaking pattern, if you will. But if then it becomes permanent, I mean, if you use permanently your left ear and your right hemisphere of the brain in order to regulate speaking, then it takes time. And as I read in a book called When Listening Comes Alive, written by Paul Madon, who was a student of Dr. Tomatis, the one I was motivated by to overcome stuttering, really, to be honest. He said that when using the left ear for regulating, for coordinating your speech, then it takes double. It's the longest distance. It takes double the time to say what you want to say. That's why it creates also traffic. The thought is there, but it takes time to express it. It's not your fault. It's just the way it works. And so that's my take. In order to conclude, that's my take why stuttering occurs. It's because of the way the brain and hearing is connected. In the next video, we're going to talk about ways how to gradually start changing that. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.